like books.
Books are great.
Guess we'll read some books.
Gary Chapman's Anger, Handling a Powerful Emotion in a Healthy Way.
Healthy?
Healthy.
Okay. Gary.
Gary.
Everybody loves Gary.
Everyone loves Gary. No, that is a different show. Anger is everywhere.
The end.
My Little Pony. Spouses are angry at each other, employees are angry at bosses, teens are angry at parents, and vice versa. Citizens are angry at their government. Television news
keeps us down.
Routinely shows angry demonstrators shouting their wrath. Spend some time around a major airport when bad weather has canceled flights and you will observe Lewis Black in action. Mm-hmm. Many of us are angry at ourselves. Sometimes we are angry and think we shouldn't feel that way. Or we observe our children expressing anger inappropriately and wonder how to teach them to deal with their anger.
No, fingers are not for biting, and hair is not for pulling, and you should be in timeout right now.
Are you talking to me or the listeners?
I don't know.
Who are you talking to?
Clearly, many of us have issues with anger. In addition, Christians are often confused about this powerful and complex emotion. For those who follow Christ, is there ever an appropriate expression of anger? Spoiler, yes. What does the Bible say? Can anger ever be a good thing? If, in searching for answers to these questions, you go online and type anger into a search engine, you will find an overwhelming amount of information. Yet most of, Gregory, what has been written does not deal with two fundamental questions. What is the origin of anger, and what is the purpose of anger?
The porpoise of anger?
Yes, the dolphins of anger. They're very important. They're part of the origin story.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Midgard, in chapter 2.
The porpoises of anger.
Yes. There's 7 of them. They've all got really weird elvish names. Why do men and women experience the emotions of anger? The emotions of anger.
Understanding the origin of anger is essential to understanding the purpose of Lewis Black. And understanding the purpose of Lewis Black is essential to learning how to process anger in a constructive manner. The few books and articles that do raise the question of origins tend to see Lewis Black as a survival technique in humans' early evolutionary development. Anger is nature's way of preparing humans to respond in times of danger. As one who holds undergraduate and graduate degrees in the field of anthropology, I believe this view is woefully inadequate. In the first place, it ignores the Christian worldview. And secondly, even if one accepts a naturalistic worldview, it does not adequately explain the psychological aspects of anger.
Much of the confusion among Christians about the emotion of anger flows from a misunderstanding of the origin of anger. Christian literature on anger has tended to focus on controlling it, without an adequate understanding of the source of anger. But I am convinced that our efforts at controlling anger will be much more effective if we have a clearer understanding of the source of anger. I don't know where that accent came from.
So where does anger come from? What is its origin? The answer, which may surprise you, is found in chapter 1. And the answer suggests anger's purpose, which is described in chapter 2. It feels like he's putting this in some sort of numerological order.
Numerological? Ooh.
I have
bold move.
I have counseled couples and families for more than 35 years now.
I must stop this Christmas from coming, but how? I have worked with
hundreds of families dealing with multiple family problems. In almost all cases, these families or couples have struggled with processing anger. When adults know how to deal with their own anger in a healthy, positive way, they not only create a more secure environment for the family, they also have greater potential for teaching their children how to process anger. I'm going to stop right there. This needs to be highlighted because this is exactly why I'm doing this. This is why I'm doing this book. This is why I'm doing this Let's Read. That's why I'm recording all this, is because I remember days, weeks, months where I would wake up angry. I'd be angry all day long. I would go to bed and still be angry. And I really want to not only be able to be in better control of my emotions, but I also want to help teach my daughter when she gets older and starts to experience anger, I want to teach her that there are good ways and there are better ways of dealing with anger. And life is better when you're not angry all the time. So, thank you for going through this with me. And
thank you for sharing.
I'm looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you patronize me?
I'm gonna keep it. Equally important, they are able to build a productive work environment, engaging effectively with their coworkers. When adults have not learned to process their anger, marital and family turmoil usually results, sometimes spilling over at work or other settings, or out in public in really awkward situations.
Or into let's reads when someone patronizes them.
In the Western world, a common remedy is to seek counseling. Indeed, in America, the counseling office has become the major forum for learning to process anger. Unfortunately, most people do not go to counseling until their mismanagement of anger has gotten them into serious trouble.
God had to burn my barn down.
Thousands of others who are already in serious trouble never go for counseling at all. Perhaps you cannot, because of time, money, or fear, step into the counselor's office. I believe that what is learned in the counseling office could be learned in the living room if adults had adequate information. This book is an attempt to put into readable form the insights and techniques that have helped hundreds of couples and single adults discover that our husband needs to hit the arrow key, a better way to process anger. The names of all clients have been changed, but their situations and conversations are real.
At times, you may recognize issues and responses similar to your own. All of us can learn much about processing our anger more effectively. You hear that? All of you. All of us. We're in this together.
Including those of you who are thinking, oh my gosh, that one person, why don't they just read the stupid book?
Like if I could
you're not angry at all.
Well, I have good news for you. They don't have to read the book. They just have to like YouTube. We're here to do it for you. WeRead stands for We Read So You Don't Have To. And I pray that if this blesses even one person, then it was time well spent. If you or someone you love is struggling with anger, I hope this volume will help you to gain a fresh and Christian perspective on anger. I also hope that as you gain this new perspective, you will be equipped to understand and deal with Lewis Black or that of someone close to you. Additionally, my hope is that this book will provide interested individuals with a tool that will stimulate group discussion and workshops on the topic of anger. The discussion guide at the end of this book and online at 5lovelanguages.com will help you review key ideas and apply them to your life.
Oh, I thought you were going off on how much you like the book. I didn't realize you were reading. I was really impressed for a second.
I'm right here. I am convinced.
Okay.
I am convinced that much can be learned about anger in an educational setting, a small group, a Sunday school class, or seminar, as well as in the counseling office. In fact, this must happen if we're going to turn the tide of the epidemic of verbal and physical abuse that characterizes our generation. When
we bring our anger under the lordship of Christ, when we learn from a holy God about the origin and purpose of anger, we can heal our relationships. Aww. Most important, we can accomplish God's good purposes. I like books!
Books are great.
Let's
I guess
go
we'll read some books.